All right, folks. So today we're just converting pretty much inches to centimeters, and then back the other way. I will say that inches were a really weird unit. Literally, it was 1/12 of a foot originally, and a foot was literally the length of a king's foot. So the king, you would measure their foot, and that was the length of a foot. And it might change from time to time depending on what the king's foot was and stuff like that. And same thing with a hand. There was a distance called a hand. In fact, horse races still measure. When you look up a horse in horse racing and it tells you about it, it'll tell you how tall the horse is. I think from the floor to its top of its shoulder or something weird like that. And it's measured in hands. It's like, oh, that's a 16.5 hand horse. Like they're still using old units like that. Um, but at one point or another, and I don't remember when, very recently or some semi-recently, they did finally say that these two, centimeters and inches, are related, and they no longer go by weirdness and stuff. And what they said is that 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 whole inch. Okay, and once we know that, we can do all the work that's required. For example, if I have a problem and I said, you know, let's say we're doing inches to centimeters, so let's go 4.00 inches, and I have to convert that to centimeters, right? If I have to do that, it's pretty easy to do. So what you do is you start by writing what you do know, 4 inches, and go ahead and put it over 1, and then times it by, and then we're going to use this ratio right here. And the ratio is always going to be 1 inch to 2.54 centimeters, or it might be 2.54 centimeters to 1 inch, depending on which one you need. Right now, since inches are on top and I want to get rid of it, I need inches on the bottom. So I say 1 inch, that's a 1 right here, is the same as 2.54 centimeters. And this is what we call our conversion value right here, because technically these are the same thing. So it's like dividing by 1 technically at that point. Okay. So that being said, let's do the math. And notice all the ones on the bottom, so this is going to go out really easy. So we're just going to type in calculator, and we're going to go 4.00 times 2.54, and I get the answer 10.16. So 10.16 centimeters. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Now, as a rule of thumb, I should tell you that notice I have 1, 2, 3 significant digits, so my answer should have 1, 2, 3 significant digits. So really this should be reported like that, rounding that 6 is going to round there. I mean, both are correct, but this one's done more correctly because your accurate measurement is this accurate, but you can't measure down to 1/100th of a 1/100th of a centimeter when you didn't measure down to that small of a thing. Well, actually, maybe this is possible. Maybe you can report it, but I'm fine either way, however you report your answer. I'll do one more. 1 foot. So we all know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So for fun, what is 12 inches as far as centimeters? So we write 12 inches, put it over 1, times it by 1 inch is the same thing as 2.54 centimeters. And these inches will cancel out, and I just end up with 12 times 2.54. So let's go ahead and calculate that. 12 times 2.54, and the answer is 30.48 centimeters. So 1 foot is that long in centimeters. Okay, well, I think that's enough samples that way. Now let's just do a sample real quick the other way. So what if I want to go centimeters to inches? Well, we're going to use that other one right here. We're going to do 1 inch is the same thing as 2.54 centimeters. We're going to use this conversion right here. So let's say if I give you a problem, like let's say problem number 1 is convert 22 centimeters to inches. Well, we would write down 22 centimeters and we put it over 1 just like before and times it by 2.54 over 1 because this is inches right here and this is centimeters. So it's just the opposite over here. And if you do the math, this is when you need to divide. So we get 22 times 1 on top, so 22. On the bottom, 1 times 2.54, so 2.54. And centimeters cancel out, so my answer will be in inches, which is what I want. So let's take 22 divided by 2.54. So let's take 22 divided by 2.54. And I get 8.66. 8.66. And I only had 2, so I could really write 8.7 if I really wanted to. I mean, that would be acceptable to put your answer like that. Since I only have 2 digits here, I'll have 2 digits here. And that's why I ignored all this other junk. You don't need to write all that stuff down. Alrighty. Then let's do one more. What I want to do is this. Let's do this one right here. 30.48. And I'll show you why in a second. 30.48 centimeters. If somebody said, how many inches is that? Well, let's do the work, but the answer should be 12, right? It should be 12. So let's see. 30.48 divided by 1, that's how many centimeters we are working with, times, and then we're going to do this number, 1 inch, divided by 2.54 centimeters. And so we get 30.48 on the top. We get 2.54 on the bottom because it's just 1 times that. And we get that value here. And remember, the centimeters will cancel out. Our answer is going to be in inches, which is good. So let's take this 30.48 divided by 2.54. And I lost my calculator, of course. Let's see, what was it? 30.48 divided by 2.54. 12. So the answer is 12 inches. So it does work. If I take this and convert it to inches, we get 12. And then when I converted 12 inches to centimeters, I got this. So it works either way you want to go.